have with me yet another participant from the Shrink Your Fibroid Studies. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
So, my first question is, what made you decide to participate in the study?
Well, for the last several years, I've just been having extreme menstrual pain and PMS symptoms, and I just wanted to try something new to see if anything outside of medication would be beneficial to help my symptoms. Found out about my fibroids recently. I don't want to do surgery for that, so I'm going to just try a holistic process, see what works for me.
So how did you find out about your fibroids?
Well, Googled you to find an OBGYN that would be willing to at least go a little bit further into seeing what my issues were. So ultrasound was scheduled, and some other labs were scheduled. Went in, got that done, and it was discovered that I had 2 fibroids.
So can you share what symptoms prompted you to even seek out help?
Yeah, so menstrual wise, so I usually would be on my menstrual for about 6 to 7 days. There was a lot of heavy bleeding the first 3 to 4 days. There would be tender breast would be one, nausea, vomiting, just all GI issues, headaches, migraines. Yeah.
Sounds pretty bad.
Everything.
Sounds pretty bad. So here's a question. When you heard you have fibroids, had you heard of fibroids before?
I did. So a lot of women in my family actually have them. My mother had fibroids, and eventually her uterus was removed, and my 2 aunts as well. Same thing.
They had hysterectomies?
Yes.
So all 3 women?
Yes, my mother and my 2 aunts have hysterectomies, yes.
So how did it make you feel when you heard fibroids?
Well, I automatically thought, okay, I'm going to end up like them. Like, this might get to a point where I'm going to have to get a hysterectomy, or it'll affect my children, because my mom had to have surgery prior to having me for her fibroids too. So that's what I went to, and I was like, I don't want to do surgery if it's not, going to help, or if I'm going to eventually have to get a hysterectomy. That's big surgery.
Yes. So before the study, you definitely were not plant-based.
No.
And you spent the last 3 weeks changing your diet.
Yes.
How has it been?
Changing the diet, it hasn't been the easiest, but with the support of the group and my fiance even trying, that's made it really, really more helpful. Plus, I had just this past week, and my symptoms were way better. So.
And what makes you think it was because of the diet change?
Just because prior I had already been tracking my period symptoms just to see how things were going, and so I really noticed the change this month, just not having to take thousands of milligrams of ibuprofen, not being bent over, I didn't have any vomiting, so it was just I contributed to the food because that's the only thing that I changed.
That's huge. That's really huge.
Yep.
That's good news. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
So this is a 6-month study, and I know you have obligations that may make it hard for you to come to the group, but are you planning to continue?
Oh, for sure. It was after I noticed midway in my period, I was like, well, I have no excuse now. I definitely have to continue with this symptom-free.
Goals for the end of the study, what would you like to see or have happen by, this is a 6-month study, so.
Well, on 2 ways. On one, I would like to really fully be integrated with the plant-based lifestyle, because it has been really helpful to me. So I want to continue to learn that. And my hope medically would be that the fibroids would shrink, or at least be less symptomatic. Okay.
So now, previously you mentioned that you found the switch expensive. Buying food was expensive. So my question to you is, do you think it's just because you're no longer buying the old stuff and buy a whole set of new items, or do you think it's going to be expensive all the way through, and is that a deterrent for you?
No, I don't think it's a deterrent. I think it's just trying to find out what works. So again, not being plant-based before and just removing everything processed out of my house and rebuilding, that was a little bit expensive. But once you have it, you have it.
Right.
So no, I don't see that being a long-term issue or deterring me away from it.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to share about this journey so far?
So far so good. I feel like it's working for me, and that's huge considering like a few months ago I would be on my bathroom floor crying from cramps. So I'm just really happy and excited to keep trying, see what happens.
Yes.